What's going on, Knicks fans? Welcome to another edition of Knicks Latest, fresh off of a Labor Day weekend. We got a lot to get to, but first, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to build a Knicks community here full of fans who are objective, passionate about the New York Knicks, who are fully aware we are in the middle of a golden age of New York Knicks basketball. We have not seen a team this good, frankly, for the past 25 years or so. For the first time in a really long time, we could confidently say the New York Knicks are favorites to go to the NBA Finals. Should be one of the favorites to win the NBA Finals. This team is a serious championship contender, and we're going to be breaking down for you latest headlines, rumors, news, scores, updates, all that good stuff here on Knicks Latest. So make sure you subscribe. I also take your comments, and I use them for the show. If you've been watching for the past few weeks, I've been using a lot of YouTube comments, responding to YouTube comments based off the content that I provide, based off of your opinions and thoughts as well. It is the offseason. We are now into September, which means next month the season starts. We are slowly getting closer to opening day for the New York Knicks, but there are still things that the Knicks have to do before the season starts, and that's, starts with that last roster spot. Who's going to get it? And right now, according to Bleacher Report, article came out that said you could pencil Ben Simmons in for that final vet minimum spot for the New York Knicks. Now, if you watch this channel at all, you know that this is something I'm not in favor of. I'm actually surprised that A, if they wanted Ben Simmons, it's taking this long, and B, that Ben Simmons actually wants to come to New York, considering his experience in Philadelphia and how that ended. You know that the fan base got to him, playing in Philadelphia, and that pressure got to him. What makes you think that coming to the Garden is a viable option for your career? Nonetheless, seems to be interested. Them and Sacramento. The Knicks and Sacramento seem to be the two places where Ben Simmons is most likely to go. You actually hear that about Russell Westbrook as well. Sacramento's another spot for Russell Westbrook. So obviously Sacramento's looking for a veteran presence. The Knicks, to me, don't really need the services of Ben Simmons unless someone like Jalen Brunson gets hurt and you need somebody to play the point guard position and you don't trust Tyler Kolek. Having that on the roster could be, I guess, beneficial, but just the way this Knicks team is set up, with Mitchell Robinson, you're not going to have someone who spreads the floor if he starts. If Josh Hart's on the starting lineup, you're not going to have someone to stretch the floor if he starts. So having someone like Ben Simmons to stagger the minutes alongside of Josh Hart or even a Mitchell Robinson just does not make a lot of sense to me. I don't know where he plays unless there's an injury. I don't know where he plays unless people are resting. He's not going to be in your rotation full time. Now, you can say, hey, listen, this is a vet minimum spot. We know what our rotation is going to be. It doesn't really matter. This is just break the glass in case of an emergency, and I get that. But even with the break the glass in case of an emergency, it depends on the emergency, right? A lot of people want Ben Simmons because if something happens to Jalen Brunson. Well, like I said before, can you play Ben Simmons and Mitchell Robinson? Can you play Ben Simmons and Josh Hart at the same time? I'm not sure you can. So for me, I understand the need for a tall, physical defender, which Ben Simmons is. Ben Simmons brings a lot to the table still, even though he has been hurt, even though he's had the psychological issues since leaving Philadelphia. He is still a solid basketball player. He's a rotation piece for, I think, a contending team. I think he could be a rotation piece for a contending team. I don't think he can get big minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, but he's somebody who can play defense, who can grab boards, who can still pass the basketball, be a playmaker on the offensive end. So I don't think there's no value there with Ben Simmons. I just don't think he fits the roster. I'm really surprised that Leon Rose and company are still going after this. I understand that slim pickings right now. It's basically everybody wants Malik Beasley because of the situation there and how cheap you might be able to get him and what he could provide for you. And then it's just a bunch of veterans who can't find teams. You have a Malcolm Brogdon, who I think, if he was as healthy as we would want him to be, he would have been signed by now. So to me, it's a red flag that Malcolm hasn't been signed. You have Russell Westbrook, somebody who has bounced from team to team the previous years. I think his skill set, although there are positives there, same thing. Teams are going to sag off of him in the half court. I think that's not a net positive at all. Also, he's very erratic, just not something I would want on this team. To me, I go back and forth with this, but I say this all the time on this show. I think Landry Shamet is the most viable option for this New York Knicks team. It just makes the most sense, right? On your bench right now, you have Deuce McBride and Jordan Clarkson, who are going to be your backcourt. Let's see how Mike Brown figures out how to distribute the basketball between the two, but those are your backcourt right there. Deuce McBride, Jordan Clarkson off the bench. You have Yabusele, who's killing it, by the way. Shout out to Gershon Yabusele, who's making me very excited for the upcoming season. He's somebody who's going to come off the bench. Even Knicks Twitter's thinking, hey, maybe he could start. I wouldn't go that far, but that's the conversation on Knicks Twitter. That's how well he's playing out there in Europe. I have him coming off the bench, but he's front court. Now, whatever happens with Mitch or Josh, that's up to Mike Brown, but one of them will be coming off the bench as well. To me, whether it's Mitch or Josh, you need somebody who can spread the floor, shoot the three, and defend. Who is that? Landry Shamet. There's really no other option. I really liked Amir Kofi. Unfortunately, Milwaukee, picked him up and signed him. The Knicks just don't have a lot of options here. I do like DeLon Wright. I thought he came in and had good minutes in the playoffs and even had good minutes when Jalen Brunson and Deuce were hurt last year, starting at point guard. He's a solid defender. He's somebody who can run the offense, needs to work on the shot, but you know what? He's a pro. I wouldn't mind that. But to me, Landry just makes the most sense. Somebody who could shoot the three, spread the floor, someone who could defend the perimeter. Just makes the most sense for this Knicks team right now. Anyone else doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Finally, want to get to this Deuce McBride trade that I saw on Bleacher Report. It has the Knicks sending Deuce McBride to Sacramento. Deuce in a pick to Sacramento for Keon Ellis, which I think is a lot for Keon. I like Keon Ellis. I feel like if they were Pokemon, Keon would be like the next evolved version of Deuce McBride, if that makes any sense. Just a little bit of better defender. He improved his shot on less volume than Deuce. But to me, just what you want off the bench, somebody who can create havoc on the defensive end, which Deuce can do. Keon maybe just a little more. Keon maybe a little more versatile scorer. I don't know if I'd go that far. I think I'd rather Deuce shooting three, even though Keon has a higher percentage. Deuce shoots it more at volume. But yeah, someone who I could see that being an upgrade, but I wouldn't trade Deuce in a pick. To me, that's you gotta think about continuity here as well. Keon and Jordan in the background, in the backcourt, I guess that could work, but Deuce doesn't need the ball, right? Deuce can just chill in the perimeter, shoot the three, and be a pesky point of attack defender. I think he's somebody who works well with Jalen and the starting lineup as well, if you want to throw him in there as well. I don't think Keon necessarily does. I think Keon can get lost without the ball, even though he did improve his three-point shot last year. I just rather Deuce in those situations, off the ball spot, and up shooting the three. And then on top of it, like I said, Deuce is a good defender. It's not like he's a bad defender. You are upgrading here with Keon, but you're not getting that much better getting Deuce McBride out the way, and you're giving up a pick. I just don't understand the other asset with it. So for me, I understand Bleacher Report thinking here. Also, Mike Brown coached Keon. I'm sure he loved Keon. I'm sure he loved how he got after it defensively. To me, it's not that big of an upgrade where I would risk the chemistry. I would risk, the lineups and the different lineups that Mike Brown would be able to do with Deuce, being able to spread the floor, shoot the three, maybe be a ball handler. I know Keon can do similar things. I just trust Deuce a little more on the offensive end, and so I'm willing to keep Deuce McBride around for Keon Ellis. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. I know that we've mentioned Keon Ellis before, and it's been pretty split there, but I would like to know what you think. Forget the pick. Would you do Deuce for Keon straight up? I want to know that. Also, let me know what you think of Ben Simmons, if you think I'm right about Landry Shamet, and if there's anybody else on the market who you'd want to be on the New York Knicks to start the season. They have a vet minimum, still haven't done it yet. They've been waiting. Don't know why they waited to September, but they have. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video. See you tomorrow for an episode of Knicks Latest. Peace.